about the plane crash in Ukraine?
I woke up one morning and was sitting with my mom in bed, and we turned on the news, and all of a sudden it was everywhere. Another Malaysian Airlines had crashed, and we were very curious. And when we learned about how the separatists had most likely shot down and then how they had shot down, we were very intrigued and disappointed about the lives that were lost.
And it wasn't a crash, it's terrorist activity. Please don't call it a crash. They didn't crash into anything. It was a missile from the terrorists. That's not true.
I initially heard about the plane crash through NPR, and then my wife is Ukrainian. She's from Dnipropetrovsk, and we spoke shortly after I heard on the radio about it.
I find by news, like in Facebook paper or something like that, so I was kind of surprised.
I saw it on the news.
What were your thoughts when you saw the video footage and the pictures from the crash scene?
First, I thought, how could other humans do this to each other? And how could they consciously cause harm to others who, no matter what nation they believed in, could do such a thing? And second, I thought of all the lives that were lost, whether they were from Amsterdam or Malaysian or American or anywhere. It's just a sad loss of life, considering they didn't care if it was infant or adult, and they didn't work hard enough to learn if it really was a fighter jet or if it was a passenger airline.
Just more terrorism around the world. It must be fought, must be resisted.
My first thoughts are this is just a horrible event. Anytime a plane crashes and anytime people have to go through something like that, it's just not good. But combined with the events that are happening right now in Ukraine, I think there's obvious suspicion of Russian involvement, and I think the situation is just not being handled well over there, and this plane crash obviously made that clear. So
I didn't see the picture, but I saw like video comments. I was kind of scared why it's happened, because like my husband, his parents is Dutch, so it was kind of crazy feeling. So it was just scared what's gonna happen with Ukraine, and I'm sure, I don't know why, but I'm sure it's not Ukrainian does this. I don't know.
It was a horrible scene.
Who do you think is responsible for this strategy?
The strategy, I think personally, the Russians provided the arsenal of weapons, but the Ukrainian separatists are the people that decided to use this. Otherwise, I believe if it was full Russian attack, it would not have hit a unimportant, seemingly airline. It would have hit an actual military jet, because they would have had more sophisticated technology.
The whole world is in tragedy, but they're not accepting. You have to fight evil.
As far as responsibility, I don't know. I mean, I'm not in any position to truthfully know. From what I see in the media, Ukraine says one thing, Russia says another. I think the most important thing right now, though, is for independent inspectors to be able to get in there and be able to assess what's going on.
I have no idea, but I guess this is these people who trying to make war in Ukraine. I mean, because Ukrainian, like I hear the news, they protecting themselves right now. And I actually have my best friend, he's from Donetsk. He's telling me like he see what is happening, like people who's in Donetsk doesn't like what happened right now. Like, so I don't know exactly, I'm not there, so.
I don't remember who they said shot it down. I'm not sure.
What needs to be done so that the victims' families have a closure?
Personally, I believe that we need to just work on trying to figure out how to find peace between these two nations and these many conflicting groups, and figure out how we can possibly, whether it has to come to find a way to do this without more deaths. Because I know the last thing I would want after losing my family member is to know that others were going through the same.
They've got to go to God. They must go to God for their resolve on the inside.
Well, I think a big thing, again, is to get people, whether it be from Malaysia or from the United States or the United Nations or some kind of independent group that's not involved with Russia or Ukraine, to be able to really assess what happened, and so we can get at least some truth out of it. I think, obviously, someone in that region is at fault, and I think it would be important at this point in time for the Russians, if it was the Russians, or the individuals who are fighting on behalf of I think the Donetsk People's Army or whoever they are, to admit what's going on, so people are clear at what happened and the proper apologies and the proper reparations can be paid. Yeah.
If it's happened with me, I don't know how I will be. Yes, I guess it's impossible right now to get chill. I don't know what to do. That's really crazy question. So
They really need to find out who shot it down so they can get closure for that.
This is the second crash for the Malaysian Airlines for the past few months. Would you use them if you need to?
If it was life or death situation and I needed to get home to, let's say, a sick family member, yes, but I have to say I think they're probably being targeted because of a flaw in the way that they're doing these things, so I would be cautious, at least. Probably not.
There are a lot of factors involved. A lot of people were involved. This is a big judgment from the Almighty, but it's also a push to the whole world to fight evil, fight terrorism, stand up and fight it.
How would you fight terrorism or evil?
First, you've got to get the governments to speak firmly. They're wishy-washy. They're falling down and capitulating before Putin. He is a lion and there are a bunch of little mouses running around, little mice running around like mice.
Unless I guess honestly where I'm standing right now, no. But again, it's not Malaysia's fault. It's not Malaysian Airlines' fault. Obviously, this was a horrible tragedy that was out of their control. I mean, a civilian plane being shot down. That's not the airline's fault. So, I mean, right now, I guess the question is if I need to. So, yeah, I guess if I'm going to like Kuala Lumpur or somewhere in Malaysia, I would, take a Malaysian flight. I think it's important for people to realize, it's not the airline's fault. This is whoever shot the plane down. So,
I mean, it's kind of scary right now because it's really look interesting the way how it's happened. So maybe in the future when in Ukraine's gonna calm down situation, maybe, but I'm not sure.
No, absolutely not.